Matchmaker.fm connects podcasters and guests. Welcome to Matched, the show where we talk to some of the most incredible guests available for an interview right now. I'm your host, James Mulvany, founder of Matchmaker.fm, and this is Matched.
Hi, I'm Maria Liberati, and you can find me on Matchmaker.fm.
Hey Maria, how's it going? Welcome to Matched.
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and interview with you.
No problem. So if you could start off just by telling us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I am a celebrity chef, an award-winning author, and I've actually an award-winning book series. It's a culinary travel book series. It's related to a trademark that I have. It's all kind of under the same name, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati, TM. But my tagline has always been where food meets art, travel, and life. So I have a blog, a book series, a podcast, and now a Roku channel, all under the same title.
Okay. And I'm curious to know, have you always been a chef? Have you always loved food? How did you get involved in cooking?
Actually, that's a really good question. I have not. I got to be a chef because I was modeling in Italy, and I had a really successful modeling career. I was modeling in Europe, and when I was there, began researching my family and meeting my family and finding out that my family had this gigantic vineyard in the center of the hills of Abruzzo, the region of Abruzzo, Italy, and began studying there because they did the winemaking and baking, and I ended up studying the culinary arts in Italy, and that's what led to this. And then I actually did my book series. Most of it was done in Italy. All my time in Italy, I lived in Italy for quite some time.
Oh wow! So you did a lot of traveling, did you? And just kind of.
Yes, I did, and I lived in Italy. I lived there back and forth, actually, because I did a lot of cooking programs and worked with a lot of companies there and studied actually with a lot of chefs there besides studying at a school there. So, yes.
Is it true what they say with Italian cooking that you can learn some of the most from like the nonnas?
Yes. You know what? My motivation really first of all, I used to cook with my grandparents, my mom, my aunts, my grandmothers, everybody used to always cook in the kitchen. So it was kind of an inherent thing already in me. And I just thought everybody did that. I didn't realize, people didn't cook with 50 million other people in their kitchen, all family members cooking together. So a lot of the things that I learned from my grandmothers and my mom and my great aunts, I still draw upon for a lot of things that I do. And some things that they did, are actually things that are even better than they teach you, in school. So you're absolutely right. And some of the best restaurants in Italy are not the fancy really, they're these little ones that are run by families, with the grandmother at the head and stuff. So yes, you're absolutely
cool.
Right.
Okay. So let's get on to podcasting. If you could start off just by telling us, why did you sign up to Matchmaker.fm?
Yeah, well, I signed up to Matchmaker.fm because my podcast is virtually new. So I'm always looking for guests. I started my podcast doing it basically on my own without guests, but I like the dimension that brings to the podcast. And I love the way that Matchmaker makes it easy to reach out and find guests for your show. It's an easy way to do it, to find guests, interesting interview guests for your show.
Okay,
yes.
Super. And can you tell us a little bit about your show and what the theme is?
Yes, well, I'm kind of on a mission to connect people to the things that they enjoy in life, which are the things I enjoy. So, food, cooking, travel, culture, lifestyle, it's really a smattering of things. I know people, they think of me and they think, okay, it's food, cooking, recipes. It's not. Food is actually connected, and it connects us to so many things. So, and they're fun things, So I like to delve into so many topics because I can find the intersection between food and so many things. So it's really about, many, many topics: art, travel, food, cooking, anything you can cook, you can connect food to. Like I just did a segment on pets, on dogs the other day because of International Puppy Day, and I actually have special recipes that I cook for my dog. So she gets all these chef created meals for her. But so there are ways to connect food to pets also, and so many things you can intersect food with. So that's my idea. My mission is to connect people with things that they enjoy in life and to have fun.
Okay, cool. And can you tell us about some of the guests that you've managed to have on your show so far?
Frank Ferragini, he's just the name that comes to the top of my head. He is a morning show host in Canada, Toronto, Canada, but he's also an expert on plants and gardening. And then I have Andrew Cotto, who is an award-winning author. He writes for the New York Times, and he has traveled extensively in Italy, and he has fictional books that he's written, but the fictional books kind of have a little bit of his travel experiences in them, and he includes food in any books that he has. So I had him. I did have an expert on, he's actually one of the world's top experts on pizza making. His name is Tony Gemignana, and he was just really, really interesting to speak to. I have an interview coming up with a woman, her name, that wrote a book with Bob Hope, who was a former comedian, very famous comedian, with his daughter about all the letters that, all the correspondence that he had during the war when he was doing these USO shows. Really interesting. So she's coming up. I'm trying to think of some others. I've had influencers, fashion influencers, style influencers, other chefs, Cardi Mortimer, who actually he has a book out, but he was one of Emeril Lagasse's head chefs. And actually he still works with Emeril Lagasse. Frankie and Bergamo, who's in Boston, and he actually won a few cooking contests, and he does a lot of films. Also, he's a character actor for films, but he gave us a kind of a tour by Zoom of by food of Boston's North End, the Italian North End. So, and I'm trying to think of, oh gosh, the list goes on and on. Have had lots of other people, but other chefs, trying to think of some others that I've had. Oh, I've had people that own, let's see, I had the head chef from the Pure House, which is a restaurant in Venice Beach, California, who is really they're well known for making craft cocktails. So he gave us some recipes and ideas on different craft cocktails. Laura Donadoni, who's known as the Italian wine girl. And she did a segment on, I think we did a segment on pairing wines, and possibly pairing wines with chocolate. I think we did a segment like that. I had a chocolate maker on, a chocolatier who makes artisan chocolate. So, and I've had people from Australia. I had an author from Australia. So I've actually had people from all over the world also, which is interesting too, like through Matchmaker and also Zoom. You can interview people from all over the world. So I just love it.
Yeah. Did you think it was going to be this diverse when you first sort of went into podcasting?
Well, I myself, because I've lived all over the world and traveled, I have never, I don't blink an eye when I think that, okay, I have to do something in another part of the world. So yes, I did. And I wanted it to be that way because that's the way my life is. And I really want to connect people to that. And I think that's really important. I think that was one of the important things about my life, that I've lived all over the world and I've had these experiences that I think people, if you can't do that in person, then, any way you can do it, which I'm hoping that I'm connecting them in some way to experience that. But yes, I always had that in the mix. In fact, I've had people say about doing like very local sort of local things to where I am. And I've never seen my life as that. And I think it's important really to bring in experience, loads of experiences from all over the world.
Yeah, definitely. And have you been on a guest as yourself on many other podcasts?
Yes, I have. I've been a guest on lots of different podcasts. Also all over the world. I've done some in Australia, the UK, Canada, and obviously the US. So yes, I have.
So what advice would you give to someone who's perhaps thinking about starting their own podcast, or they're thinking about starting to appear on other people's podcasts?
Well, I think the first thing is, you always need to take the first step, because I know people that I've talked to that do want to do the very thing. They're kind of afraid. And, it's almost like when you jump in the pool, you have to put your toe in before you get in there. So you need to start, but you need to really think out and don't overthink. Again, that's the other thing. Don't overthink too much, but just think about what you would like to talk about. The thing I love about podcasting, because I was supposed to actually do a radio show and it got delayed because of the pandemic. So I couldn't get into the studio. And that's actually how I ended up doing it as a podcast. But I like the podcast. I think it's a more intimate way of talking, of being with people, and it's also more informal. And it's just, I think it's a lot more fun. So, you don't need to be as, I guess, regimented as you would if you were doing a TV show or radio show. But again, you need to think out what you want to speak about. And if you want to just start local to your area, do that. But the most important thing is just get started. Think out your topic that you want to speak about and just go for it. Just get started. Podcasting is very easy to get started. And with Matchmaker, it's really easy to find guests also.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good advice. Okay, just to finish up, if people want to find out more about you and they want to get in touch, how can they do so?
Yes, so my website is marialiberati.com. Twitter, they can find me at Maria Liberati with a capital M. Facebook is Chef Maria Liberati. Instagram is Maria Liberati. My podcast is The Maria Liberati Show, and they can find me anywhere. In my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, you can find that at marialiberati.com and also anywhere books are sold online.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Maria. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
There is an easier way to get booked onto more podcasts as a guest. Join matchmaker.fm for free today and start making connections with podcasters who are looking for guests just like you.